gotta give in now. I think I gotta live this now. I think gonna be when I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in the ring when I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the will. Cause I am just up on the journey. You just know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors, rise. Grand rising, warriors. The next Black Swan is here, and I'm going to take you step by step through my opinion and my opinion only. Before we start, I want to introduce myself, and then what we're going to learn today in this video is what is actually happening step by step, event by event, and where we are heading as a society. And when you know the game, you can't be played. Every time you look this way, there's a brand new narrative going on this way. When people start to get backed in a corner, specifically a narcissist, what they do is they start throwing haymakers. They want you looking this way as they change the system this way. To know this is nothing new under the sun is an understatement. It's actually written in a great book. This is nothing new under the sun. And if you don't start to understand this, not understand this, understand this, you will end up in a vicious cycle over and over and over again. So it's time to get out of the washing machine. It's time to dry ourselves off. It's time to open up your mind and understand that you have sovereign control of your life. It doesn't matter what Biden does. It doesn't matter what Trump does. It doesn't matter what anybody does. You have a choice every single day to make a decision to be great. So my name is Coach JV. I am the top health, mindset, crypto, and business coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. Why do I repeat the same thing? And, often people say, oh, that's so arrogant for you to say that. You should be saying that about yourself. I have different fingerprint and different DNA than you. So why would I not believe that I'm the greatest of all time within my paradigm? What you speak to yourself is extremely, extremely important. Every single one of you has a special gift that's been ripped out of you by the indoctrination system. You went to school to get a job, to work somewhere that you're completely out of alignment with, to ruin your creativity, to get a paycheck, to buy shit you can't afford, to impress people you don't like, thanks to Gary Vee, that statement, to embody a relationship and follow this systematic process you've been indoctrinated into. It's time to get back into your creative state of mind. Okay, so what I'm about to break down is you need to understand that this is all by design. So remember in 2020, we got locked down, right? All of a sudden we got locked down. But remember, 2019, the World Economic Forum had done a pandemic preparedness drill response. Then all of a sudden by March 2020, the whole world was affected. Now remember, the World Economic Forum that brings together the most wealthiest leaders in the world. If they're bringing the wealthiest leaders in the world, I showed you an interview with Klaus Schwab on CNN. They were hammering him. He's like, well, you keep bringing the biggest leaders in the world together since 1971. Why can't you guys make change? What's going on? They are making change. Problem, reaction, solution. Whoever creates a problem creates a reaction in the people, comes up with the solution. So wherever they want to move us, create a problem, get a reaction, and then you come on the back end with a solution. So let's walk through what's happening. Okay, so C word happens, the beer virus. We all look this way. We all put our things on and we get locked down. They completely destroy us. Okay, they give PPP loans. They give all this free money. They turn on the printing machines. They take that money, the cancel loan effect. They put it into their bank accounts. They invest in future technologies, Web 3.0, and then they crush small businesses. And now the IRS is coming after all these people that got PPP loans, trapping them again. Okay, so here is where we are heading, the next Black Swan. So on what date was this? Around August 11th. So this is around Friday, Thursday last week, right? If I got the times right. So I'm going to play this video. So all of a sudden, the CDC streamlines the beer virus guidelines, okay? The guidance acknowledges that the pandemic is not over, but also helps us move to a point where the C word no longer severely disrupts our daily lives. But anytime they change something like this, that was a catalyst to move us forward into their agenda, there's always another narrative. So the new narrative is here, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. Let's first watch this news clip.
Thank you, CDC. It just rolled back more COVID guidelines. The updates today put more responsibility on each of us
rather than on schools and businesses and our employers. Here are the highlights for you and your family. Unvaccinated people no longer have to quarantine. That's over if they're exposed to the virus. Instead, they should wear a mask for 10 days and get tested after day 5. The old guidance was to stay home. School districts can now drop the so-called test to stay policy. Cheer parents. It recommends that students exposed to COVID get tested regularly in order to stay at school. That's gone. And most people don't need to stay at least 6 feet away from each other. Goodbye social distancing. Agency officials are acknowledging that nearly all Americans 16 and older have had some degree of immunity, whether through vaccinations, previous infections, or both. In a statement, one of the authors of the new guidelines wrote, "This guidance acknowledges that the pandemic is not over, but also helps us move to a point where COVID-19 no longer severely disrupts our daily life."
Okay, so that's no longer going to disrupt our daily lives, but the inflation, the gas prices, but when one narrative changes, another one starts. So at the exact same time, Nancy Pelosi against tons of recommendations to not land in Taiwan because China and Taiwan have their own differences. And our leader, one of our leaders, well, put into a leadership position, let's make that very clear, was told not to go to Taiwan. But she jumps on a plane and Nancy Pelosi arrives in Taiwan, drawing a sharp response from Beijing. China announces plans for live-fire military drills soon after Mrs. Pelosi flew into Taiwan. Analysts said Beijing move seemed designed to project strength rather than a severe or predecessor to an invasion. So they're saying, hey, you land in there, you're going to piss us off, right? So we know that we pissed China off. Now let's stop for just a moment, okay? When the mask rules changed, do you remember when the mask rules changed on February 14th? California changed their mask laws. You could take them off. New York changed their mask laws around the same time. Russia invaded Ukraine around that time. At the same time, I can't remember her name. Not Nancy Pelosi, but the Tweety Bird. Anyways, one of the senators was in front of Congress talking about stablecoin regulation, okay? At the same time, I'm mixing up all the things. So we invade, let's go back. So we invade Russia and Ukraine when they remove the mask laws. Okay, then they go after the SWIFT system. So there's the financial narrative. Okay, so one shift in one narrative, the beer virus narrative, we go to Russia goes to war with Ukraine, SWIFT system. Okay, then right when they're talking about stablecoin regulation, Terra Luna collapses. Okay. Then they decide to release all the CDC laws. Now you're responsible. And now the next black swan is we're going to war with China. Now, why would we go to war? Okay. What does war do? It creates gross domestic product growth. It's false gross domestic product growth. So what they're trying to do is midterms are coming up. So they're rolling back the CDC guidelines. Wow, we're feeling good about this, you know, and then war creates job growth. So by the time the election comes, they can say, hey, the other president, it was in COVID, right? He got blamed for COVID and all the reactions to it. This new president literally removed COVID guidelines, the hero. Then they take us to war, which increases jobs and GDP, which is fake growth because it's created, right? A war is created for monetary gain. So check this out. This is why I think this is a new narrative. She was told not to go. And then August 14th, right as they roll back these guidelines, more U.S. lawmakers visit Taiwan 12 days after the Pelosi trip. 12 days. She was told not to go. And so let's just poke the bear. Let's just poke the bear. And America must prepare for war over Taiwan. Why are they going there if they're told not to? Get on a freaking conference call. Get on a Zoom call. You locked us down. Jump on a damn Zoom call. Okay? Or is this by design? So here is the next narrative. But let's hear from the person who's poking the bear.
Our purpose in going to Taiwan was to say that we have this strong relationship built on the status quo, which we support, which is really important because they're saying, well, we're trying to upset. No, the Taiwan Relations Act of 1979, at the same time as our change of recognition, established the terms of our relationship, the 3 U.S.-China joint communiques, and the 6 assurances. So there's no departure from that. But in keeping with that, we will not allow China to isolate Taiwan. Their pretext was our visit for them to do what they normally do, intensify. They didn't do it when the Senate went under Chairman Menendez of the Foreign Relations Committee. They just decided to do it this time.
Okay. Listen to her last sentence. Now, maybe I could be wrong in analyzing this. I'm not some, news reporter, or an analyst. She said they decided to do it this time. They're all working behind the scenes, Warriors. Hey, you come on down to Taiwan. We're going to throw shots fired at you guys. Okay. We're going to shut down the C word. The beer virus is done. The beer virus is done. Okay. We got the people enough. Now let's go to war. So food is expensive. Gas is expensive. Okay. The normal everyday American is now stacking up their credit cards, Boom. Here's where the narrative comes in. Okay. America's GDP is negative. Two months of no GDP, or 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. We're in a recession. Number 2 is that America is negative debt to income ratio. Our debt is bigger than the cash that we have on hand. And come to find out, another superpower, China economy is collapsing. So the 2 superpower GDPs in the world have both mishandled the financial acumen, or whatever, financials of their government, or of their countries, of their country, right? So now China, the superpower, and America, the superpower, are collapsing as we know it. So what do? Make the people think we're at war, hurt innocent people for financial gain. China's crisis wipes out 90 billion of developer market value. We know Evergrande, that's when I was out in Dubai, I think it was last year, Evergrande started to unfold. So we found out that China market was really propped up by false real estate, right? And now it's completely collapsing. China's developers have suffered a meltdown of at least 90 billion in stocks and dollar bonds last year, with a bursting housing bubble and intensifying debt crisis threatening to inflict more pain. Okay. Now, this is all taking us somewhere. You guys realize that, right? It's all economic. SWIFT system with Russia and Ukraine. Okay. We're going to Taiwan. We're pissing off China. China's going to attack. And then it's going to be a GDP narrative. They're going to raise GDP. And then we're going to need to move money a lot faster because people aren't going to have food. So think about if we go to war with China, Russia and Ukraine, West mess with the wheat. Okay. China and America is going to mess with supply chain and imports and exports. So then there's going to be a massive supply chain problem. We're not going to be able to continue to get wheat from Russia and Ukraine. There's going to be a supply chain import and exports around China, and people aren't going to be able to get their stuff, and stuff is going to get so expensive that you're going to need support. Okay, so these are key takeaways from China's economic slowdown, how it affects us. China has been one of the fastest growing countries for the last few decades, but is slowing its growth due to shifts in domestic consumption. Okay, we're taking them off life support. A trade war with U.S. also contributed China's economic slowdown between 2017 and 2019. The issue of the U.S. debt with the Treasury could slow, and the value of the dollar could drop. If you're invested in China and diverse portfolio, you can mitigate risk by slowing down China's economic growth. Okay, so China, America, all the countries are attached. They're all attached. But again, World Economic Forum, as CNN said to you, that you're getting all the richest people in the world together, then why are you not coming up with solutions? Every single year you meet, but nothing happens. Yes, things are happening. These are things that are being created in order to move us from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, okay, and into a brand new digital economy. China has given away millions in digital yuan trials. This was back in 2021, I believe. This is how it works. So basically, and then America, you can read through all this, money payments, US dollar in the age of digital transformation. This, Warriors, is all this narrative right here. Problem, reaction, boom, solution. You can't move normal everyday people, proud Americans, into a brand new economy without forcing them into scarcity. So we're moving from a freedom narrative to a safety narrative. And we are all buying the ticket. You guys are fighting against left and right by design. You're fighting against Roe versus Wade by design. You're fighting against gun laws back and forth by design. The left and right created the left and right to get us to go against each other as human beings to fight. It's been nothing new under the sun. They put you in the Colosseum in the Roman days. Welcome to the Colosseum. So welcome, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with this. This is just my opinion, not financial advice, just me doing research and connecting the dots, looking backwards, looking forward, and understanding that I am a sovereign human being. So how did we get here, right? So we created the 3T Warrior Academy, description down below. What is it, right? We have courses like my 5 pillars of wealth and access to the resources of my 5 pillars of wealth. The cryptocurrency courses, over 130 cryptocurrency courses, my revolutionary 120 challenge to get your shit together. We also create an affiliate program where you can use our business to grow your own personal income. Money mindset, you can schedule private one-on-ones with our team. And the events is the biggest part of our community. We have 7 calls per week, live crypto market updates, the Warrior live workouts. You work out with me live daily. You have a generational wealth building call with me and leadership call every single Thursday. We have community hangouts, which keeps you in your vibe, in your tribe. And most of all, our revolutionary community. You can contact me personally right here in our messaging system. This is our private social media network. We don't play games, Warriors. This is not a game. We are here to change lives. We're here to bring people together from all over the world and teach light, love, and positivity, being better husbands, being better fathers, being better partners, and being better contributors to society. So we're all about light, love, and positivity, and we'd love to see you on the other side. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Also, after this ending thing, check out our Good Morning Crypto show. They go live every single day at 8 o'clock Arizona time.